Hey there, Brian. I know this is such short notice, but I figure I'll try to show you what I'm trying to explain in my message to you. Alright, so what I first want to do is I want to make sure I have, so you can see your version history of your file. I make sure that I had a version saved of my normal walk cycle where she's walking across. So like I made sure I have a version where she's, I'm going to do it in step mode real quick. But I made sure that I have this version where she's walking like this. I made sure I have this already saved into Artella. And to do that, you just go to the three dots here, and you just go version history, and you can see all the versions you have. And once I was finished making her walk in place, I saved that as a separate version. And anytime you can go back to a previous version. So when you upload it, it will ask you to you can comment on it. So I made this one commented walk in place, so I remembered that was the one that I made her walk in place. That's just a little tip so you don't get lost and you can always go back to it in the future. But yeah, as for what I'm trying to do, basically, let me put her into perspective mode here. What I did was I grabbed this control handle, and as you can see right now, she's walking forward. I just went into Windows, General Editor, Animation Editor's Graph Editor. I'm sure you know about this, but basically, as you can see, this is my Translate Z line here. This is just showing like the direction she's walking in, right? Your line should be pretty straight once you start splining. I started a little bit, but it's not required yet. Anyways, besides the point, what I did was you can either set these values equal to 0, like this. So that's a little more difficult. But what I did was I selected all these values right here. So just drag and drop over it. Then I went over to this tool right here. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's an easy way to shrink it down. So then I shrunk down all the values to be pretty much 0. And if I wanted to get accurately, I can go up to this little purple thing, type 0. So now all the values are equal to 0, which means her body is going to be walking in place. So let's test this. Yep. So her body is walking in place now, but her legs are going crazy. They're going forward. So to fix this, I went to the legs. So let's go to this foot. I went back into the graph editor. I went to their Translate Z. This is what's controlling the legs to move. And I figured, so this is going forward. I don't want that. And it took me a little bit of adjusting, but I pretty much went through frame by frame and just tried to make it where she was normal. So in this case, I want to keep her foot back here more. And to reference back, I went to my files and I looked at my previous versions. So in this case, I looked at my walk cycle here, and I just scrolled through this and I tried to match the poses up. Like, I know this probably isn't the easiest way to do it, but it's how I did it. So yeah, so as you can see, your foot's about here. Then I have this foot supposed to be maybe a little further back. As you can see, the leg gap. And I'll go into side view just to make it a little easy for me to see exactly. So that's about accurate. Make sure that's saved. Then, okay, this one's a little funky. And all the values should be normal, like for her body, and everything else should be the same. The only difference is her legs. So all you're going to have to do is just go through the legs, basically, and try to match it up. So nothing too crazy hard, just a little bit of tedious work. But yeah, once it's done, it's worth it, definitely. And you have a little step-in-place animation. So that was definitely this was definitely the hardest part of this assignment for me. It took me a little bit to figure out. So yeah, basically trying to match it up. And I can go in later after this and check on the graph editor for each of these. So maybe I'll go in now and see what it looks like, just like the Translate Z. So I can see that it's going under and then it goes up. So I'm gonna guess the further it goes up, the worse it is for me. Like the further those things go. So maybe I can lower these down a little bit, see how that looks. Nah, it's just easiest to go through each of those things. So that's a little thing we got going. So see how she's walking in place now. So yeah, that's about all there is to it. So I'm just gonna go back and loop just because I didn't do the whole thing. Oh no, I don't want that. Just do your 13. But yeah, just for you, you can either just do the first cycle. So there's like 40 frames, but you can just do the first cycle and then delete those old 40 frames and copy paste the new ones. So like basically like this. So what I would do is go to these my first 48 frames, which is the 2 cycle long where she walks forward. I just get that first loop where she's walking, and then once it's back to the start pose, so once it's back to like something like here, I think this is like the start pose or whatever. Not really sure where this is supposed to be. Okay, that's about right. Let's get this here. So yeah, once it's back to like here, like frame 25, just grab her whole body, like select it all like this. Hold shift, drag across here, and you can then right click and click copy. So this will copy all those frames once it's all red. So shift click on the frame you want to start copying from and just drag it back. Right click the mouse, click copy, and then from there I'll just go into my 49 frames. And all these frames I don't really want since they're redundant and they keep her bad. So I'll delete those by right clicking, and then where I want to start my pasted frames, I'll just say 28 or something. Paste. And as I can see, it's a little off, so I want to make sure there's like, for me, I make sure there's 3 frames between each like little bar. So then I'll move it back and make sure you use these middle arrows. They're a little easier to use just because they keep it just makes it go back 1 frame. Because if you use the arrows on the end, so like let's say I used these arrows, it makes it kind of move half a frame, and it makes it like the values just incorrect. So, oh man, this is still a leg I missed. That's okay. I'm guessing this is a little stomp leg. But this version is pretty rough. I just was trying to do this quick so I could get it to you as fast as I can. But basically, once you got something like this, you can play through, and yeah, you got a little walk in place walk cycle. That's not too bad. But yeah, I hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions about it. But yeah, this is just the version that worked best for me. Oh man, he's still goofing a little bit on the leg, but that's okay. Basically, yeah, that's the main idea. Just you can have a little alternate tab here and just follow along, and then you can do that. So yeah, hope that helped. Let me know if there's any questions you have about it again, Mr. Brian, and I'm looking forward to seeing your work. I'm sure you're going to have a great assignment this week. All right, see you later.